inside of you where nothing is impossible. Oh, the great things you will do, 'cause nothing is impossible. You were born into this world with everything you need. Hold on to your heart, the magic starts the moment you believe. Nothing is impossible. Dreams are made to fly. When you blow by every obstacle and move like you're unstoppable. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. You were born to shine. When you blow by every obstacle and move like you're unstoppable. Nothing is impossible.
Morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Rieger. This is not working. Linda, can you run over there and just click the mouse on the top counter there? Oh, go around to the other side. One second, folks. So just click the mouse. It's actually on the screen there. Just click it anywhere on that screen. There we go. Okay. Yep, we're good now. Okay. We had a little issue with my remote control. So my name's Kevin Rieger. I'm happy to welcome you here today. We did send out an email that we're going virtual for the month of January. So we have very few people here in the center, but I hope that you're watching from home. What a gorgeous day we have. The white snow covering the ground. It looks like January in Wisconsin. It's nothing better. By February, I'll be really grumpy, but that first week of the year with the snow on the ground, it just looks so beautiful. So please join me in our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotence. Here's our affirmation. Thank you, God, that we have come to this place to release the past, celebrate the present, and embrace the future in love, peace, harmony, and prosperity. In our affirmation for our center, we at the Unity Center are a loving, diverse, inclusive, spiritual community who come together to demonstrate and live the teachings of Jesus Christ by listening, learning, and empowering ourselves and others. So I will take any requests for prayer. Do we have any today from here in the crowd? Okay, well, let's hold our world and every living thing in it and every inanimate object in it in the light today. We start a new year. Let's bless our earth and all those that live within it, knowing that God's energy, vitality, and power flows through each of us. Let's send out that light that all of us might be better able to understand God's will for our lives and for our world, and to act in such a way to bring more peace, more kindness, more health, and more compassion to each and every one of us throughout the world. For this we pray in the Christ Spirit. Amen. The 12 powers. January is this is the first Sunday in January, and so the first power of the year, according to Unity, is faith. It is the ability to perceive, intuit, and believe. The disciple is Peter, representing faith in things spiritual, faith in God. The corresponding color is royal blue, located in the center of the brain. And the affirmation is, faith blesses my day and paves my way. And now we'll have Linda Zwerline read our daily word.
Good morning to all that I can see and all that I can't. The word today is clarity. Time spent communing with God gives me clarity. When I gaze toward the heavens on a moonlit night, I expect to see twinkling stars and constellations. But if I use a telescope, I can see details with much greater clarity. This example could describe my spiritual life as well. I may go about my day mindful of my blissful feelings and kinship with all the people. These things and more are the fruits of my faith. But I find clarity during times of intentional contemplation. When I meditate upon the truth, I feel the presence of God fill my consciousness and touch my heart. This clarity informs my thoughts, words, and actions, bringing my faith to vivid life. And from Corinthians, for now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we shall see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now we have the delightful and wonderful music of Julie Thompson and Doug Itzy. Hi, everybody.
Thanks, Linda. Doug Esty and I are happy to be here. And I want to give a shout out to Cindy Freeman, who's doing the lyrics on Facebook for us, putting the lyrics down so you can sing along on this old time Unity song. And also, Cindy, recognize this? I decided to grab your guitar because it's such a great guitar. So hopefully I'm in tune. Here we go. This is called It's in Every One of Us. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. Slightly different lyrics. It's in every one of us to be free. Find your heart, open your eyes and see. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us here and now. First verse, everybody. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us by and by.
Thanks so much, Julie and Doug.
Mhm.
Really appreciate it. That's one of my favorite songs. I love that.
Excellent.
We're We're happy to bring back Russ Gnant today. He's a lifelong Unity student, and we've really been appreciative of the fact that he's been willing to come and speak for us since Reverend Mary left. I'm sure that he's got some great things to tell us, and I'm sure you'd rather listen to him talk than me, so let's bring Russ on. Thanks, Russ.
Good morning. First time I played to a camera. I played to a camera, not to a room full of people. It's good to be back here this morning. I asked Julie to sing that song because it's a favorite song of the kids and the youth in Unity. I spent a lot of time with the YOU, and that was one of their favorite songs. It was written in 1975 by Dave Pomerantz and later sung by John Denver. Now, I found out quite by accident that it was used as a final song in a stage production in the 1986 play in England. And I thought it was interesting that a favorite song of the YOU would be used in a commercial play. So I did some more investigating, and I found out that it was used in this stage production called Time. Dave Clark of the Dave Clark 5 Time. Those younger people will have to Google that. But put this stage production on in England, and the last song in this stage production was It's in Every One of Us. So I did some more investigating on the stage production, and the story is that there's a rock concert going on, and a Time Lord from out in space somewhere absconds or takes the rock star off the stage and brings him to a court, a high court, and holds court as to why the earth should be allowed to continue. And so it's a rock musical that goes through all of that. What was fascinating, though, is that they had a part by Laurence Olivier in this play. And there's a piece that he did that I was fascinated with, and I want to play that for you this morning. So if I could ask Kevin to play that, we'll listen to that. It's about 4 minutes in length.
Stand before me on the sign of infinity, all you of the earth. With the granting of the law of provenation comes the application of change. I will give you the key. And with this knowledge, please realize, comes the responsibility of sharing it. I will show you the way. It's very simple. Throughout the universe, there is order in the movement of the planets, in nature, and in the functioning of the human mind. A mind that is in its natural state of order is in harmony with the universe, and such a mind is timeless. Your life is an expression of your mind. You are a creator of your own universe. For as a human being, you are free to will whatever state of being you desire through the use of your thoughts and words. There is great power there. Can be a blessing or a curse. It's entirely up to you. For the quality of your life is brought about by the quality of your thinking. Think about that. Thoughts produce actions. Look at what you are thinking. See the pettiness and the envy and the greed and the fear and all the other attitudes that cause you pain and discomfort. Realize that the one thing you have absolute control over is your attitude. See the effect that it has on those around you. For each life is linked to all life, and your words carry with them chain reactions, like a stone that is thrown into a pond. If your thinking is in order, your words will flow directly from the heart, creating ripples of love. If you truly want to change your world, my friends, you must change your thinking. Reason is your greatest tool. It creates an atmosphere of understanding, which leads to caring, which is love. Choose your words with care. Go forth with love.
So how cool is that? Not much more I can say. Let's take the collection, go home and shovel. The quality of your life is based upon the quality of your thinking. Think about that. Is that a message we are familiar with, or what? Aren't we taught that what we think shows up in our lives? Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, said all conditions of man are a result of his thinking. I should warn you, I'm going to use a lot of quotes from Charles Fillmore this morning. This is not new stuff, especially in this room. Most of you know the basic precepts of unity. The first one is that we are a perfect child of God. And that as a perfect child of a loving God, we are imbued with all of God's characteristics, including the ability to create. Not just when we want to create, but all the time. All of our thoughts, all the time. We do not get a pass when we are upset or tired or driving on the expressway. Laurence Olivier said that was a blessing and a curse, and he's right. We don't get to negate the spiritual law of cause and effect when it's convenient. And now that I've told you, now that I've made you think about it, you can't unhear it. That's the curse part. You can't escape it. All of your thoughts create form at some level. This is not new. Think of the book, The Secret, Napoleon Hill's classic book, Think and Grow Rich. The power of your thinking has been written about extensively. In Proverbs, it says, as he thinketh within himself, so is he. Problem is, we really don't believe it. Not really. That's because we've been hijacked by our past. We think we are consciously running our lives, but we are really replaying tapes we've been hearing since we were 5. Most of the thoughts we assume are our own are really the visible and largely unquestioned beliefs we downloaded from others. Our brain is nothing more than a set of neural pathways. The problem is our old ways of thinking have put down a set of pathways that are hard to interrupt. We are simply reacting to patterns we picked up before we were able even to choose wisely. Left to our own devices, we will simply travel those old pathways, unconsciously creating as we go. I have an interesting story about neural pathways. About 20 years ago, I attended a 3-day business retreat, and it was one of these retreats where they take the first 4 hours and they take your comfort zone away from you. They knock you down, they knock you off balance. You have no idea what's going to happen. And you spend the next 3 days in this jumble of exercises that they put you through. It's pretty rattling, but it was also very great. I ended up sending everyone in my company to this retreat. I recommended it to a friend of mine, and he went and also found it worthwhile. And several weeks later, after he got home, he called me and he says, Russ, I have something to tell you. And I said, what? And he says, I clipped my fingernails today. Now, I didn't know how to react to that. Wasn't quite sure what I should say. And he explained that he hasn't clipped his fingernails in 20 years. He's chewed his nails. And he tried everything to stop. He tried painting his nails with stuff that didn't taste good. He tried everything to stop chewing his nails. But when he came home from the retreat, he just didn't chew his nails anymore. And after they grew out for a couple of weeks, he had to clip them. Now, he didn't go to the retreat to quit chewing his fingernails. In fact, he didn't think about it while he was at the retreat. He probably chewed them, but he didn't think about it. It was when he got home that neural pathway, that reaction to stress that he had that sent him down this neural pathway that said, bite your fingernails, that neural pathway didn't exist anymore. Somewhere it was destroyed. And since he wouldn't start down that pathway anymore, he wouldn't be chewing his fingernails. So what happened there? We have these pathways that are easy to travel, like a well-traveled path in the woods, without thinking. We're all very knowledgeable about freeway entrances that take us where we want to go. But think of an on-ramp to your thoughts. Something happens and you take the entrance ramp that you have always taken before. You take the on-ramp that is familiar to you, then wonder why you did not end up in a different place. You can't get on the on-ramp if you don't want to go where it takes you. Charles Fillmore said, the old states of mind will come again into action unless the causing thought is uncovered and removed. Jim's reaction to stress was to chew his fingernails until whatever causing thought he had was uncovered and removed. Think about Christmas lights. You pull out one bulb on a strand of Christmas lights and all the lights go out. It's kind of the same way with thinking. You change how you react to a circumstance and your old way of reacting to that goes away, like you pulled the bulb out of this strand of lights. You don't have to try hard. Jim didn't have to try hard to quit chewing his fingernails. He just stopped. Changed his world by thinking something different. Now let's talk about quantum physics for a minute. I should have my son here. He's the rocket scientist. I'm sure you all know now that we're not solid. The chair that you're sitting on is not solid. The floor we walk on is not solid. The building we are in is not solid. Whoa. We're made of atoms, and those atoms are in turn made of energy. The whole world is nothing more than waves and particles of energy, and that energy responds to other energy. The world we see is just energy that conforms to our expectations, judgments, and beliefs. Your thoughts are vibrational waves. They go out and influence and react with the forces of the universe. The universe simply follows what we send out. It makes no judgment, it just does as it is bid. Charles Fillmore said, the body is the exact reproduction of the thoughts of its occupant. The mind thinks in mind, so is his body. And the Course in Miracles says, if I, and by I you can substitute God, field of potential, the universe, whatever you want. If I intervened between your thoughts and their results, I would be tampering with a basic law of cause and effect, the most fundamental law there is. It would hardly help you if I depreciated the power of your own thinking. It's much more helpful to remind you that you do not guard your thoughts careful enough. Here we're being told that we are not going to be saved from the effects of all of our thinking. We either create or we don't. And if we don't, we create all of it. That's pretty powerful stuff. Changing our world is simply a matter of changing those expectations and beliefs. To bring something in the physical world requires focusing not on what we see, but on what we want to see. When we look outside ourselves, we think we see a reality, but it is really just the universe viewed through our particular lens. Emily Cady says this, There are three realms in the universe: the spiritual, the mental or psychic, and the physical or material. These three, while in a way distinct, are so blended into one that it is difficult to know where one ends and another begins. All created things have spirit, soul, and body. All things that we desire are now in being in the spiritual or invisible. Let me repeat that again. All things that we desire are now in being in the spiritual or invisible. But as someone has said, thought and the spoken word stand between the invisible and the visible. By action of these two, thought and the spoken world, is the invisible made visible. Can anybody give me an example where this is not true? Where something was created without thought and the spoken word? You think Bill Gates created Microsoft without thinking and speaking? The Wright brothers? Jesus? Charles said, every time we speak, we cause the atoms and cells of our body to tremble and go through certain changes. Not only do we cause the cells and atoms of our body to form new adjustments, but we even affect the cells of the bodies of those with whom we associate. We speak and we set off vibrations in our body. Those vibrations go out and affect others, causing vibrations in their body. A whole chain of events is started that can affect a small or a large part of the universe. Now, the third line in Genesis says, then God said, let there be light, and there was light. Let's talk about that for a second. Then God said, let there be light. God didn't think, let there be light. He said, let there be light. Thoughts are important. We all know that. But action, in this case, speaking, is necessary to bring about change. Now, this is what Emily Cady said about creation. She said, God, infinite power, might have thought about all these things till doomsday. He might have wished during an indefinite time that they were formed and made visible. Nothing would ever have been created in visible form had there not been the spoken word put forth into the formless ether. It took the definite positive, let there be, to bring forth order out of chaos and to establish invisible results, the thoughts and desires of even an infinite, omnipotent creator. Had God kept thinking about how cool the earth was going to be, we wouldn't be here. Thinking without action is nothing more than wishing. We need to be grateful that he spoke the words, let there be. Now, how much thinking have you done without taking any action? I seem to have backed myself into a corner here. I started out by saying that thoughts create things. The implication is that you can think something into existence, which is not what Charles Fillmore thought at all. He said, your word is the power through which you make your belief manifest. That's a significant point. Laying on the couch, deciding to quit smoking is not likely to get you there. But when you tell someone, or when you take some action, or you write it down, that's when you start to make progress on your goal. You won't get started without the thought, but some action is required. Or as Charles said, it is not sufficient to sit down and hold thoughts of abundance without further effort. That is limiting the law to thought alone. And we want it to be fulfilled in manifestation as well. Cultivating ideas of abundance is the first step in the process. The ideas that come must be used. Be alert in doing whatever comes to you to do, cheerful and competent in doing, sure of the results, for it is the second step in the fulfilling of the law. Okay, enough preaching. Now we're going to have some fun. Amazon delivered another book to me. These books show up apparently just when I need them. This one is called E squared, the 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality, by Pam Grout. I've prattled on up here for about a half hour about how thoughts and words create our reality. This is not news to us, but how many believe it really deep down in their core? We want to believe it, but how many of us have had experiences that absolutely prove that it is true? This is where the fun comes in. Pam wrote a book with 9 thought experiments in it, 9 experiments that demonstrate spiritual principles are as dependable as gravity. The first principle, or the first experiment, is to prove what she calls the dude abides. I love that. This is the basic principle, the foundation on which all others rest. Basically, what it says is there is an invisible energy source or field of infinite possibilities. We might call that God or the universe or all that is. The first experiment Pam gives us could best be described as an ultimatum. You are going to give the force exactly 48 hours to make its presence known. You are going to demand a clear, unmistakable sign, something that cannot be written off as coincidence. Now, her experiments use the scientific method. We hear a lot about science these days, but the scientific method is the best way to find truth. And the simple version looks like this: state a question, collect information, form a hypothesis, test the hypothesis, record and study data, and draw conclusions. The advantage of the scientific method is that it's unprejudiced. It works the same for everyone. So let's talk about this experiment she calls the dude abides. She's got a lab report sheet here, like she's actually doing an experiment and writing it down. And the theory that she said is that there's an invisible force or field of infinite possibilities, and it's yours for the asking. So the question, that's the theory, the question would be, does this invisible force exist? And her hypothesis says, if there's a 24/7 energy force equally available to everyone, I can access it at any time by simply paying attention. Furthermore, if I ask the force for a blessing, giving it a specific time frame and clear instructions, it'll send me a gift and say, my pleasure. It says time required, 48 hours. Then she has a spot for today's date and time, you write that in, and a deadline. And here's her report, here's her approach. She says, I hate to break it to you, field of potential, but folks are starting to talk. They're starting to wonder, is this guy for real? I mean, really, like it'd be so much skin off your chin to come down here and call this crazy hide and seek thing you've been playing, call off this crazy hide and seek thing you've been playing, and give you exactly 40 hours to make your presence known. I want a thumbs up, clear sign, something that cannot be written off as coincidence. So that's your experiment for the next 48 hours. You're going to go off and prove to yourself that God exists. I did, and it worked. There was no one that was more surprised than I was. Now, I asked for this unmistakable sign as Lynn and I were wrapping Christmas presents. And I was a little disappointed in what I thought was my first sign. Because as we were wrapping presents, there's a lot of garbage going into a garbage bag. And Lynn was looking for a piece of paper. And I said, well, maybe it's in the garbage bag. And she says, no, it's not in there. Well, I went in there looking for it anyway. And I didn't find the piece of paper, but I found a ring that had fallen off her finger. And had I not gone into that bag, I would not have found that ring. Now, I didn't say anything to Lynn about it. Lynn didn't know I was experimenting. And I thought, okay, it looks like there is a God, but I was a little disappointed because I was looking for fireworks. I was looking for something so out of the ordinary that I had to sit up and take notice. Then my sister called me up and asked me to come over to her house. Used to be my mom's house. My mom passed away in June. When I arrived at the house, my sister showed me a discovery she had made. She had found a significant stash of investment-grade silver coins and asked me to come over and pick up my share. I've never inherited anything in my life, and you could have knocked me over with a feather. It was the fireworks and rockets that I was asking for. This was a stunning event in my life. So I ask you, go out and ask the universe for proof that it is listening to you. Write down the time and date and write down what you're looking for. Write down that you're looking for an unmistakable sign. Then report back to me the next time we get together. Thank you. Now that I have you all thinking, I have the task of getting you to stop thinking. I need you to stop the endless chattering of your mind so that we can spend a moment in silence. The purpose of the silence is to still the activity of the individual thought so that the still small voice of God may be heard. In the silence, Spirit speaks truth to us, and just the truth that we need to hear. The simple way to do this is to distract the mind from the monkey chatter that is always there. Focus on your breathing. Take your mind off your thoughts. Keep your attention on your breath as it moves in and out. A thought comes in, let it go, and move back to your breathing. I'm only asking for minutes. Your thoughts will still be there waiting for you when we're finished. No need to worry. Breathe in and breathe out. Might help to have a mantra. When breathing in, think, I am. And breathing out, think, God is. I am. God is. This silence is God's place. Listen. I am. God is. And now, as you come out of the silence and back to this room, count your blessings and give thanks for them. Realize that only good exists in you and in your world, and that the power you contacted in the silence may have opportunity to multiply and increase your blessings. When you feel comfortable, open your eyes. Move in your seat a little as we prepare for our offering.
Hello, everybody. Before I lead everyone in our offering prayer, I just wanted to tell a little story. Once a man sat down with God and he asked God a few questions. He said, God, I struggle so much to understand you. Here we're so tied into time. What does time mean to you? And God said, oh, my son, to me, 1,000,000 years is as a second. He said, wow. He said, well, you know, we're also so tied into money down here. What does money mean to you? He said, my son, $1,000,000 is as a penny. And the man said, can I have a penny? And God said, sure, hold on a second. So I don't want you to wait even a second to make your donation this week to help us keep the doors open. I know that we're not having people in here during service, but geez, we've got to pay the snowplow bill this morning. So the bills still keep coming in, and we'd appreciate any help that you can give us. We want to keep this center going in the long term for the whole community, and especially for those that are nourished by our words. So let's join me in the offering prayer. There is no lack or limitation. Freely I give and freely I receive from God's abundance. I am blessed as I give, and unity is blessed in receiving. So here is a way that you can give from being at home, either by mail or going to our website or Facebook page. And while you take a look at that, we're going to be blessed by music from Julie and Doug.
Thanks, Kevin. This is a song written by David Roth, who writes a lot of wonderful songs that are sort of unity or unity related, I'd say. And Happy New Year, everybody.
This is the year for making changes. This is the year for moving on. This is the year for overcoming. This is the year for growing strong. This is the year for a new way of thinking. This is the year for making plans. This is the year for reaching out, and this is the year for joining hands. Gone are the lonely nights of yearning, gone are the dark and cloudy skies. All the unsteady bridges burning, all of the doubt
song, right? I mean, for the peace song. The announcements are coming. Kevin has got 2 jobs.
So we're going to virtually bless our offerings today, knowing that God's energy and wisdom is within every gift that we give, and that energy will extend to all the needs of our center and all the needs of our community, blessing us, those who give and those who receive in every way. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. So just so you know, I am doing a little bit of running back and forth today, and that is because the person who is supposed to do the AV today is quarantining because her partner has COVID. Just came down with it 3 days ago. I'm not sure, maybe Gail has it right now as well, but she couldn't take a chance of coming in. So that's one of the reasons why we feel it's important to take a pause in January just to let this Omicron spike kind of work its way through the population, and hopefully we'll be much safer when we get through the other side of it. So be careful out there. Today's announcements. Life Journey Group, we're meeting on the 2nd and 4th Mondays of the month from 6:30 to 8:15. We will be making a determination on that at the last minute to see if we can actually meet this month. But as of now, it is a week from Monday. The Minister's Book Study, this is going virtual. We can send you a Zoom invite if you just call the office or email ucim@roadrunner.com. And then we've got Silent Unity Prayer, which immediately follows the book club study every Thursday. And join us for a midweek meditation. We are still posting these every Wednesday on our Facebook page and our website. So please feel free to stop in anytime. Past weeks are also available. So it's a nice way to spend 15 minutes or so in a guided meditation. Course in Miracles is being paused for the month of January. Normally, we would meet immediately following the service. And we are still collecting volunteers. We're a community of seekers, and we're seeking assistance for someone to help lead the service when there is a guest speaker. And we also need greeters and kitchen help. So if you're interested in helping in some way, please reach out to Beth Hancock, and here is her email address. You could also call the center and mention that. There are other volunteer opportunities, but these are the easiest ones to just list. But if you're interested in helping us out in any way, please reach out. Whitestone Sunday is going to be next week. We'll probably be doing, well, we will be doing that virtually as well, but it's a spiritual practice of claiming what sacred attribute to pursue in 2022. And we're going to skip through the Unity song. I am going to just play us off with a recording of Let There Be Peace on Earth, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much for watching.
Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God
it got down to like almost the 48 hours, I'm like, "Where's my butterfly?
Where's my
Like,
damn
what the
butterfly?"
hell?"
Exactly.
Anyways, so I was tutoring his younger son, and I was going back to drop him off at his mom's house, and Trevin comes running out, and he's like, "Ashley, I wanted to give you something I just made," and it was a little butterfly.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So it's like those little like bees that they can like melt together. So he made me.
So he made the butterfly.
Isn't that so funny? And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, Trevin, like this is the
There
best
was
gift ever."
One of the experiments, that experiment where you want to see something,
Yes.
I thought, okay, I'll look for yellow cars. Now, wasn't going anywhere. We were kind of hanging around the house.